philosophy, from Eastern philosophy, that's going to help you immensely with everything that you're working towards, and is going to save you quite a lot of time, energy, money, and effort. You're going to learn the truth about whether you should actually work towards the goals and the dreams and the aspirations that you have. You know, all the stuff that you're doing right now, do you actually need to do it? So if we take a look at most people, you know, they set goals, some people do, and some people will continue working towards them, and they might start to achieve certain results. But how many people actually spend some time not just reflecting on what they want and creating big vision boards and 5-year plans and all the rest of that stuff towards their goals, but how many people actually spend time critically analyzing and thinking independently about, well, and then what? Like, do I actually need or want this thing? Because Stephen Covey, it's the thing you do before the thing you really need to do that actually matters. And most people, they work themselves up into such a frenzy of motivation that they get excited about what they're going to work towards and then suddenly start chasing towards something, but actually haven't bothered to think about, well, why are you actually working towards that? Like, why are you doing what you're doing right now? Why are you putting all that energy, all that time, all that investment, all that time thinking about it, all that time speaking about it, all that time doing stuff in the first place? And this idea comes from the Wu Wei philosophy. And I first heard this from one of my favorite TV shows. If you ain't seen it already, you need to go check it out. It's Avatar: The Last Airbender. And there's a character in there called King Bumi who talks about neutral Jing, where it's just the philosophy of actually doing nothing. It's known as the Wu Wei philosophy. And the idea is simple. Instead of focusing on exerting more energy and doing more, trying to juggle even more things, simplify. It's the daily decrease that matters rather than the daily increase. And looking at in your life and in your energy, in your spirit, what are the things that actually, what if I just choose to do nothing? Now, how can you apply this? Well, here's one way I like to use it in conversations. In conversations, I like to adopt the approach of just being like a rock. Just sit still, say nothing, do nothing. Just like in Chris Hadfield's book where he talks about being a zero, do the same thing. Apply this Wu Wei philosophy, or this neutral Jing in the words of King Bumi, who's one of my favorite characters, by the way, and do nothing. And when I say do nothing, what I really mean is focus on letting the other person guide the conversation, letting the other person say what they want to share, instead of coming in with an agenda or, you know, some kind of direction that you want to take things in or something that you want to do. I find it really useful sometimes to just be silent and wait. And people will often reveal themselves to you, their intentions, their desires, what they want to speak about. And actually that's much more empowering for them, because you're coming from a place of, how can I add value to this person? How can I be a good friend to this person? And that's not to say you don't reciprocate. I've met a lot of people who will stay in neutral Jing mode forever, and we know that's not how relationships work. It's about how well we can relate to each other, and it's a dance. You know, you've got to go forwards and backwards. It's got to be an ebb and a flow. But what I find is, you know, again, going back to Stephen Covey, his book really is that powerful. Try and understand.